So now we get into value stream mapping. Value stream mapping is a very important tool. Tons and tons of companies that use that into a daily basis, okay? And the goal of the value stream map is to understand the flow of information and the flow of production in the same kind of drawing, right? So you understand how much waste you have, what is your inventory levels in between each step, and also how much value you're adding. What are the actually transformation process that you're doing, so you can understand what is the relationship between the value added and non-value added, which is the waste, which is the inventory and all the transportation and movement and all that, right? So it paints all in a picture, and then I can understand why those things are happening, especially because you have information and production in the same way, and say, why do I have 10 days of inventory here? How can I get rid of that? Why do I have 2 days of inventory here? How can I reduce that, or 5 or 10, or why I'm doing this and why I'm doing that? So it helped companies to kind of think through and trying to understand why those inventories, why those wastes are happening, so they can build the future state. They can build a better process, with lean principles and tools and all that. So we're not going to go over future state. We're going to keep in the current state, but I want you guys to understand the logic of the value stream map, and to also know how to calculate some important metrics there. So as I said, there are 4 steps. Basically, you identify the product family, and a product family is basically products that go to similar process steps, so have a similar flow. Then we're going to draw the current state, and that's how we are going to finish this section. But there's also a step of drawing the future state, basically saying how can I improve this process, and then you go there and implement and go back and forth. Okay, so very, very widely used tool. You have some of the kind of icons and representations that we're going to use. So we have here, the process and customers and inventory and so forth, operator and so forth, so on. We're going to see that in an example. Okay. So we're going to look at Jason's Bearings. Makes 2 types of retainers that are packaged and shipped in trays of 40. Okay, and there's information about the process, and usually these are the 4 questions that it's going to be asked. Okay, in homeworks, exam, team assignments, and all that good stuff. So first, we're going to create the value stream map. We're going to show you the value stream map for this example. And this is just an example of the product, right? So Google is similar product, similar processes there. And this is the product that came, okay? And I'm going to, to make this product, you need to go to certain steps in the process, just so you guys have a visual of the product, okay? So first step here is the press. So a press is basically you have metal sheets or a roll of metal, just like a toilet papers, but a little bit bigger and made of metal, where the machine just pull it, and you have a press that stamp it, right, to cut it and make it in a shape that you actually want. Okay. Then we have a pierce and form. So in this case, you have to pierce 2 holes here, and you have to form. You can see in 3D that you have like that folded part. So you need another equipment that will fold it, and that will, drill the 2 holes on that. Okay. And then finish grind is because whenever you cut something, you have a very rough edge, right? When you cut, and that can actually cut a human, right? And that can actually scratch whatever other parts you're looking at. So what you need is you need to go put a finish on that, right? So it's rounded up and not that rough edges. Okay, and these are the 3 steps. And here we have another information. We have the average demand at 3,200 per week. Batch size, we have shifts per day, and we have 8 hours in a shift, okay, with 2 30-minute lunch break. So we're going to do some calculation that's similar to that capacity calculation, a little bit different, but similar. So that's why we need that information about how long they're working, and how long are the breaks and all that, okay? And next slide, we have a more information about this process. So yeah, this is the same, but we have here that is one shipment each week. We have here some communication that are done electronically here, and also with the supplier. Okay, so why do we use that information, right? And here is how the weekly send to the 3 steps. So we use the information to actually create this whole chart. And on the next slide, we have the actual value stream map. And I just realized that there was a problem with the book, say 1 shipment per week, but actually it's 1 shipment per day. Okay, and I just sent an email to one of the authors to correct that in a new version of the book, because I'm actually reviewing this chapter with him these last 2-3 weeks. Anyway, so this is the value stream map, the current state, and it represents all that information. So basically, all that information and put it into a graphical form. So you have here the customer GNK Enterprises. You have the demand here that we talked to you about. They send the forecast and the daily order. So forecast is basically the demand that they think they're going to have in 180, 90, 60, 30 days. The company's production control department or production planning control department takes that demand and send forecast for the supplier and the weekly fax or email. The suppliers that we're looking at are metal sheets. They send once a week on Monday metal sheets. So here we have the inventory of metal sheets. And here we have the 3 process that I explained to you guys. Here is how the information comes from the weekly schedule to each process. Here you have the information in each process and inventory between those process steps. Okay, and on the next video, I'm going to talk about the numbers and how to calculate them as well.